My friends and my family, this is Trevor Chapman. Modern day man, entrepreneur, achiever, purveyor of the good life, student of life, marketer. After over 10 years in business, tens of millions of dollars, I've learned this one thing. There's too much noise. It takes tactics and strategy. You can't buy it, you earn it through experience. Failure after failure hones the craft. You must become a warrior. It's time to run. The experience you can't buy. You had to have earned it. It's my turn to give back and contribute. I share all of my lessons from 7 to 8 and from 8 to 9 figures. We'll see if it goes from 9 to 10, but I'm gonna give it all to you. Consistency, persistence, dedication, vision, time, discipline, work. I'm gonna give it all to you so that you learn from where I failed and you learn from my experience. My brothers, this is your daily fuel.
What's up, hi achievers and entrepreneurs, excited to come at you today. This is Trevor Chapman. Now I'm going to share a story with you real quick that I have shared at various times of my life for different things. Now you may have already heard this from me. If you have, I apologize, but the angle is going to be a little bit different. So pay attention this time as I share this story with you, this parable that has so much meaning in our life. And I'm actually going to liken it to something I never have before, because today, in a moment of clarity, some things clicked as I was examining my past, my thoughts that I had, my goals that I had, and I really want to share it with you because it made so much sense to me. Here's the story real quick, in brevity. A chicken, yes, a little chicken, was walking, and she approached the gates of a new town. When she passed the threshold into the town, she was met by other chickens. They were asking her questions. Who was she? Where did she come from? What was her trade? How did she get where she was today? What's outside the city gates? You've been 100 miles away. I mean, every question that they could come up with, they would ask. And they listened intently as her answers were congruent with their world view, and nodded their heads. Suddenly, she exclaimed, "I can fly." For a second, there was a pause. There was no answer. And then somewhere in the huddle of chickens, one of them started to laugh. And as that one laughed, the others gained confidence and started laughing too. Not with her, at her. Because after all, don't we all know that chickens can't fly? They can run and flap and stumble around, but chickens, no. Chickens, they can't soar. The soaring is for eagles and hawks. The flying and gliding is for the albatross, but not the chicken. It doesn't deserve to fly. Doesn't it know where it came from? Doesn't it know who its parents were? Doesn't it know the side of the tracks that it was born on? No way. No, chicken. You can't fly, the townspeople said, and mocked and laughed and pointed fingers. But she insisted. She stomped her little foot down and said, No, I can fly. I can. I've done it. In fact, I'm an expert at it. I've perfected it. And while I don't need to prove it to you, your lives will improve. The quality of your life will be better if you can fly as I do. And so what took me a lifetime to figure out, the science of it, the technique, I'm going to share with you. Everybody, my fellow chickens, meet me in town hall tonight at midnight. And I will show you how to fly as I do. Well, their curiosity was piqued. I mean, they all doubted it. They were all chickens, and they knew they couldn't fly. Sure enough, curiosity got the better of them. And at midnight that night, The town as a whole, this group of chickens, showed up at the townhouse, the town hall. And like she said, the new chicken was there with a smile on her beak. Feathers spread. You could see that she knew that she was something special. She carried herself differently than the other chickens. She didn't cluck. She didn't look at the ground. She certainly didn't run around like her head was cut off. She knew something and had experienced a moment of clarity that had shown her how she can live better. And because all chickens are genetically the same, I mean, they're slightly different, but more or less, their genetic makeup is generally the same. She knew because of science, they all could achieve what she achieved. Excited to share this because success is happiest when shared. She walked up to the front of the room, gathered their attention, asked them to gather around her. A hush fell in the town hall. All eyes were on her. The hopeful, the skeptical, the critical, the courageous. Not a single chicken looked away. She counted down from 4, 3, 2, and on 1, she flapped her wings like no other chickens had seen prior. Something different. The times were changing. The chicken was evolving. And sure enough, she lifted off of ground and started to flap, and the thrust caused her to soar and catch the airwaves. And she flew all around town hall, shocked, but in the moment, unaware of their prior thoughts or the thoughts of those around her, because they were caught up in the excitement of it all. I mean, this chicken was flying, and chickens don't fly. But they were as excited as she was. They started to mimic it. Those that mimicked exactly, who observed more keenly than the others, who listened, who dropped ego, and did as she said, assuming correctly that her intentions were pure, also achieved liftoff. Some faster than others, some more powerful. Others, it took a little bit longer, but nonetheless, the technique worked for all of them. After all, they were genetically the same. Eventually, the entire town, all the chickens in that town, were soaring around town hall that night, loving, laughing, proud, doing things that had previously been, quote, impossible. Nothing, it seemed, would stop them from this revelry of joy, this quantum leap in their lives. They soared and soared. And on the horizon, the beautiful sun, the giver of life, started to rise in the east. And as it approached the horizon line, one of the roosters cock-a-doodle-dooed. Bam! The other roosters kicked in. The chicken, aware that other members of its society, some married to the rooster, some friends with the rooster, others enemies, but nonetheless the rooster, for some reason, had power over them. No one really understood why. But as they cock-a-doodle-dooed, the chickens landed, realizing that they had to get home. They high-fived with their little wings, hugged, thanked the dear little chicken traveler that showed them all this breakthrough. And then they all walked home. Did you catch it? They all walked home. Let me say it one more time. The irony of it all. They walked home. Though more inefficient, though unnecessary, slower, yet safe, comfortable. Something they were used to. Something that they would blend in with the others when they did and not draw the attention of the skeptics or the critics or the strong roosters pointing out how the weak chickens had failed. They walked home despite learning to fly, and they could have. They could have soared home, blown everybody's mind, quantum leaped that town. They could have changed the perspective of every animal that coexisted. They could have proven that prior thought was inaccurate and that what they once could not do, they could do. They just didn't know how. But they didn't. They succumbed. They did what was comfortable. The rut. A coffin with no ends, right? And they settled back into that rut and walked home. My dear friends, how many of us walk home after we've flown, after we've soared, when our horizons were expanded, and then at the noise or abrupt interruption of something else, someone else, a rooster, usually family, right? Or friends. The abrupt cockadoodle doing of those people causes us to land. And remember, in our hearts, of course, that we can't fly. We're just chickens. Chickens can't fly. Well, the bumblebee, scientifically, it's not supposed to be able to fly. But, we all know that the bumblebee can. I mean, that thing is out there. It's gifted. That thing can fly. Eagles can fly. Jaybirds can fly. I mean, there's a bunch of birds that can fly. We have wings. We are birds, but chicken can't fly. Science says so. The roosters say so. That's what we were taught in school. That's what our parents said. It's what our older siblings and cousins said. And more importantly, I mean, can you imagine if someone snapped a photo of me flying and put it on social media? Worse, if they snapped a photo of me trying to fly. The ridiculousness of it. The audacity. How dare I attempt to fly? I mean, I can, because I learned how. But how dare I? How dare I do that? How dare I make the other chickens feel small who aren't flying? Because I am flying. Isn't it better for me not to cause any dissension or contention by not shaking up the waves of tradition? I mean, yeah, they can fly too, but do I want to remind them? Do I want to tell them? What will they think of me? And then they'll all laugh as I fly home. A couple might clap. A few might applaud. Yeah, I might blow some minds. But the vast majority are like crabs. And if they're not going to let me out of the bucket, I sure am not going to fight them. Decade goes by. Here lies me. The chicken that knew how to fly, but didn't. Here's that me in another life. The chicken that knew he could fly, but chose not to because, I'm sensitive of everyone else around me. Oh, and there's the gravestone of some other dimension, some tandem universe in which I exist also. There's Rip. The chicken who could have changed the entire world, but doing so would have been painful. It would have brought him out of his comfort zone, or her. And why would we ever leave our comfort zone when it's comfortable here? Nah. I just want to cluck, peck at the ground, get fat. Be like all the other chicken, and then die. Friends. Oh, man. Not friends, family. I beg you. Why? Why? Why are you not flying? For each of you, that means something different. Some of you, you've lost incredible opportunities. Chances at the Olympics. Chances of social media tycoonery. Chances at entrepreneurship greatness. Quantum changes in our existence. But we downplay our abilities because the people around us might feel insecure at our greatness. And in doing so, we deny the world of flight. Now, all of you who do fly, you know that it's actually not that easy. So many of us, and probably most people listening right now, want to fly. In fact, daily. Despite the laughs, despite the roosters, despite science, we fly, or we try to. We run and jump and flap, and, for a sec, we might actually soar before science happens. And we tumble across the ground, lose some feathers, come back scuffed. But hey, freak, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a high achiever. And we keep trying, and the problem is that we create artificial limits. Because we say, hey, that Steve Jobs chicken, by the time he was 30, was worth $800 million and created Apple. I'm just as good to him, but for some reason, I'm just as good as him, but for some reason, I don't know. It just hasn't happened yet. It's going to be easier for me to just stop or change the type of flying I want to do. Like, I want six-pack, I want abs today, not in 8 months. So I'm going to work out right now and give it everything. And then after this workout, I'm going to flex in the mirror. What? I look the same. There's no noticeable difference. In fact, I look worse. I'm swollen a little bit. Forget this. Yeah, I want abs really bad, but I don't know. Do I really want to do sit-ups for a year? What else am I going to do? Well, life's going to go by. That year's going to pass. I'm going to be watching Game of Thrones anyway. But no. It's better, I don't know. Better I don't try. Well, see, we demand that on our first attempt we fly because other chickens are flying. But that is simply uncanny to assume that. There's lots of people right now on social media saying patience, 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 patience to entrepreneurs. And what they're saying is that it takes time, experience, commitment. See, time is that great bridge. You're here on this side. What you want is on the other side, and a massive body of water is between you. You will end up on that bridge, on that landmass over there where you want to be. It's inevitable to get to the promised land if you keep plugging forward and attempting to fly. And the further you get, the faster you'll get there. But too often, while we're on that bridge, we realize how long the path might be. So we look to our left, look to our right, see a couple people further down from us, feel like somehow we should have what they have, and decide instead, hey, if I'm not going to be where that guy is, then let's see, where's another landmass around here? Oh, okay, over there, north by northeast. Okay, that's the landmass I'm going to go to. And we start over. And this continues. Why? Why? I don't know why. Has something to do with our DNA and evolution and survival. But we're not fighting saber-toothed tigers anymore. We're not dying of fevers. We're not freezing to death in the cold. At least most of us aren't. We've got to be the masters of our mind. Do not compare yourself to anyone else's present. Only compare yourself to your past. And in doing so, you will find the strength to fly, to attempt it, to keep going. You deserve it, and more importantly, the world deserves your contribution. Do you recognize? Now listen for a second. Listen. Focus. Do you realize that you are the culmination of 150,000 years of ingenuity, survival, grit, resilience, passion, everything good in the human race, everything that does not kill unless needed, everything that has put us at the apex of this planet and potentially the universe, all of that incredible stuff, you are the culmination of all of it, of every grand conceivable concept or idea of it all. And man, there are beautiful concepts. There are irresistible ideas. There are unfathomable visions that we could have brought about as a race, as a species. And you are the culmination of it, the grandeur of it all. Think of the magnificence of that. Think of what that means. How incredible you are. When you wake up early before most of the population and you look out at the sunset that hits you in the feels because it is so indescribable. The colors, the hues, the mountain that it illuminates, and the ocean that shoots sparkle off of its surface. That beauty you have created. It is there because of how you interpret it. While the matter exists, the beauty that moves you, the beauty that creates poetry that is timeless, the beauty that is the seed of song and dance and art and love. That beauty that you behold exists in virtue of you and only you. Protons are flying from our sun. They are bouncing off of matter. And when you open your eyes, the collective prism of these trillions of protons enter your ocular nerve. The data flies into the back of your brain, and you see something that exists only in virtue of you. It's beautiful because of you. Because you viewed it, it has come into being. You have conceived this. You. Had you not opened your eyes and seen it in its glory, it would not exist in the same manner. The matter would be there. The oceans would ripple. The vibrations that you interpret as sound would just flutter through the air, not being heard. The protons bouncing off and changing the colors would continue to fly at light speed, because it is light. But it wouldn't be interpreted as the masterpiece, the stunning movement that you see it as. You are the culmination of everything wonderful. You are. How unlikely your existence is. How incredible your heritage. That each individual, every progenitor survived long enough to bring you into existence, to conceive you. How unlikely those serendipitous moments were. And yet, serendipity stepped in, and you're here. Are you not more magnificent than some Cheetos and Game of Thrones? Are you not more incredible than The Price is Right? And even if you've thrown those aside, you are 1,000,000 times more than your CrossFit routine. The heckles and laughing of others are nothing compared to your own ocular nerve that is bringing into existence masterpiece after masterpiece. You are self-aware how incredible that is. Something that is aware that it is aware of itself. I mean, what does that even mean? But you are it. Brother, sister, you're magnificent. You're beautiful. I cannot place your value because currency doesn't even come close to matching it. Stop, please. Stop downplaying how amazing you are. Stop ceding to the enemies of your glory and your magnificence. Live up to what the Stoics called the virtues and be happy. You're more than a few dopamine shots and serotonin squirts. That's a part of you, but that's not you. You're here purposefully to improve this planet that we all live on. Our collective lives, our collective emotions, all of it. You're here for that. My firm belief is that the movers and shakers, the crusaders, the farmers, the illuminated ones of today, the Michelangelos, the Newtons, those people that move us as a species forward right now are dedicated entrepreneurs. That's who. NASA isn't taking us to Mars, an entrepreneur is. Some secret group of scientists isn't eradicating the rape and consumption of all the minerals on the earth. An entrepreneur is. While governments help, businesses are what move us forward. And you are uniquely suited because of your heritage. You are uniquely suited because of your life experience, because of the way that you fly, which is unique to everyone else. You are uniquely suited to bless our lives. Do not downplay that. It doesn't matter what it is. I wasn't passionate about pest control. I wasn't incredibly passionate about commercial security and access control. In fact, while I enjoyed solar, it didn't get my blood boiling, but I knew that enterprises are what I loved to build, and that in doing so, I impacted other people's lives. I didn't wait until I find what made my harmony sing. I didn't wait to harmonize with the planet before I started. I didn't get caught up in trying to figure out what my passion is and then pursuing it relentlessly. I just did. Do you realize that the only thing that is stopping you from achieving everything on this planet that you could ever dream of or want is just doing it? And patience. Hence consistency and persistence. I'm going to end by talking about the sun. Daily it rises, and it gives us life, regardless of how it feels. It puts forth more or less the same amount of radiation, just enough for our planet to thrive. Not so much that it burns us into a crisp. Can you imagine if, like you or I, woke up and it was like, dude, just not really feeling it today, so not gonna shine. Next morning it wakes up, disappointed at itself. And so it says, all right, no biggie, no biggie. I didn't do anything yesterday, so I'm going to do twice as much today. No, 3 times as much. And then it blasts us, radiates us, burns us up to a crisp. We are here because the sun is consistent and persistent. You can't skip today or tomorrow and make up for it the next day. Because the next day is there anyway. You might as well do everything that you can to make it happen. Doing twice as much, hey, you can do twice as much anyway, so just do twice as much. Stop making up your homework. Just do it. Do it, man. Fly. Now, while this was not as tactical as many of my podcast episodes are, I hope that during these words with you, that you felt something and remembered something, and that you will move forward with the understanding that you don't need to see the destination. You can drive 1,000 miles with only the light of your headlights. What is that, 50 feet in front of you? So you may only see 50 feet in front of you, but you can make it all the way around the world like that. Don't be afraid if you don't know where you're going yet. Just keep driving. Don't look around and judge yourself based on where everyone else is. Just look at your past and let that be the measuring rod. All of my love and all of my respect. If this helped you, please pay it forward by sharing it with somebody that would enjoy it. Subscribe. Nothing means more than subscribing and reviews. And lastly, if you're interested in working more closely with me, you can go to trevorchapman.com. I've got a variety of options for you to choose from. And if I can add value, I will. If I can't, I'll tell you straight up that I can't. Remember, the Academy of Arbitrage is helping hundreds of people like you engage in the newest form of commerce this planet has, and potentially its last, e-commerce. It's academyofarbitrage.com. Until tomorrow, my friends, all my love, all my respect. Trevor out.